Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching this out there on the World Wide Web. This is Jeremy Geelan for SYS-CON TV. We are here at 9th Cloud Expo, Silicon Valley, and we're at day 4 and still cooking with gas, precisely because of people like Terry Woloszyn, my next guest, CTO, founder of PerspecSys. Welcome aboard. One more time, Terry.
Indeed.
But here's the thing, there are companies that, you know, start strong, fade, and there are companies that just go on getting better and more deeply committed, and you're clearly one of those companies. Let's bring people up to date out there, Terry, on where PerspecSys was, and I've got this sense that you're going kind of new places recently.
We are. I mean, basically we're helping to evolve the public cloud adoption by enterprise. And where we started off was addressing the initial concerns, which the surveys still state, you know, the CIOs and the CSOs and the CPOs and whatnot, they're all concerned about the security and privacy and residency of their sensitive data, and hence, what does that mean when I want to adopt a public cloud? And so while we've been addressing that and helping organizations globally, banks and insurance companies and defense contractors and public sector, you know, government agencies adopt public cloud in light of, you know, regulatory compliance requirements and the like, we're taking it to the next level. What we've heard from our customers and what we predicted would be the case was the same thing that happened with on-prem solutions. If I'm going to now make an application a mission-critical component of my application ecosystem, there are certain characteristics that need to be addressed. Business continuity being one of them. Yep. And you know, right there, the challenge that, or at least the perceived challenge with business continuity of a cloud application is vendor lock-in. Oh my goodness, what happens when, you know, if and when that vendor goes away? How do I continue my business? To be mission critical means that my business is impacted significantly if that application goes away. So what do I do? How can I possibly elevate a public cloud application to mission critical status? And so that's some of the things that PerspecSys is now helping enterprise address when it comes to public cloud adoption. So things like how can I address the business continuity? How can I address the new and emerging security challenges? Basically, at the same time I've got all the traditional concerns about hackers getting into my firewall, here's a whole new vector for these hackers to get through the public cloud into me. So how do I worry about all those new security aspects? How do I worry about the access controls? How do I worry about the audit controls? How do I worry about the backup and recovery? All those things that go into making that application capable of being mission critical. That's where we're evolving PerspecSys to now.
So what I'm hearing now is you know, PerspecSys is evolving beautifully in lockstep with the concerns of those enterprise users.
Exactly. I mean, this is something that we've talked about since day one about this is what we want, you know, we aspire to achieve is getting, you know, helping enterprise adopt cloud in a meaningful way. So where we started off just helping them adopt cloud in light of privacy, residency, and security concerns around the data, now we're taking it to that next level of evolution by saying, here's how we can now help you adopt public cloud applications and enable them as a component of your mission critical ecosystem of applications.
So it's a widening and deepening really of the mission. Now you are sort of missionary sort of guy. What did you think this year would be about, and has it turned out in reality, you know, in the marketplace out there to be the kind of 2011 you were expecting?
I think it's been better for us. Well, certainly I know it's been better for us. I mean, the more people are now coming around from an enterprise perspective in the sectors that I mentioned, even more so, to not only thinking about public cloud as a viable solution in light of the capabilities PerspecSys brings to the table, but also when you've got basically staunch public cloud proponents like Salesforce saying, you know what, for enterprise to adopt even Salesforce meaningfully, we have to now offer a data residency option. Thank you. Join the club. We got Jack. We meet on Tuesdays. You know, it was wonderful for us, and it was a validation of the space. I mean, Steve Copeland in 451 said it best. I mean, it was I've always likened this, and you remember, maybe we still have it on one of your recordings, where I likened this originally to a science experiment. And he said the science experiment is now over. So this year has been a complete validation of the things that we've been talking about for 4 years. And to have a public cloud vendor like that say now for enterprise cloud enterprise cloud adoption to occur, data residency needs to be addressed and we move forward, that's been tremendous. for us.
Have you had time yet to settle down long enough to blog or write this, and I can find it at PerspecSys.com? Because I can imagine people saying, "Oh my God, so what just happened? What did I miss? He was very excited, so there must something big." Have you done that yet?
I have to admit, my marketing people, and thank you very much. Now that this is recorded, they're going to play this back for me every day. They are constantly poking me in the eye with a sharp stick, saying, "Terry, when are you going to, blog about this? When are you going to write about this?" So I am speaking about it. I mean, one of the sessions we had here today was helping you make your cloud mission critical. So definitely we're getting the message out in forums like that. But you're absolutely right, and it's a feeling of mine.
As you say, we've got it on record, so we can bully you, both your company and ours. So Terry, 2012.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we don't need to invent new missions. Just completing on this, I think, will be a fairly tough gig.
Well, no, actually, again, this is something that we've been prepared for. And so what 2012 will bring, at this Cloud Expo, we announced our 1.5 product, which is basically capable of supporting enterprise scale of cloud adoption. In other words, I've got customers that have literally tens of millions of records in a customer information file they need to manage. I mean, that alone, Larry Ellison, I loved his quote, characterized a cloud vendor as being a data roach motel. And that's true characterization for most public cloud application vendors, is that it's easy to get the data in, it's very difficult to get that data out on scale. It's when you've got 100,000 records, 200,000 records, okay, that's easy. And most SMBs are using cloud to that scale. But when enterprise, I'm in a bank, I'm a multinational bank, I've got a lot of customer information I need to manage. And while I can use the cloud as a persistent store for that kind of thing, movement of that data alone is difficult, never mind trying to wrapper it with the kind of security and privacy and residency controls that PerspecSys brings to the table. So being able to offer that in 1.5 is critical. So now enterprise can confidently say, I don't have to worry about, PerspecSys has now stopped the roach motel problem. PerspecSys has now stopped the vendor lock-in problem. PerspecSys is addressing my security and regulatory compliance problems. What 2012 brings for us is our version 2 product, which we're pretty excited about, because what it enables us to do now is expand our ability to reach even broader segments of the cloud industry beyond just the public cloud vendors, the Workdays and Twilios and Salesforces and Oracle on-demands of the world, but now also reach into the private clouds that organizations are setting up and want to share amongst themselves. So a great example is the consolidation that we're seeing going on via private clouds even of mission critical applications within large organizations, the multinationals. And yet they still run into a situation where I have one situation right now where they're trying to consolidate their utilization of an ERP, and one of the jurisdictions has said, I'm sorry, but this data can't leave this jurisdiction. It's the law. And the screeching of the brakes happens, and now they have to take a step back and wonder, what do we do? So helping enterprise again, basically continue to fulfill their ongoing application mission and adopt cloud in order to assist with that. That's our mission, is helping that adoption. And so version 2 assists us in basically bringing out a multi-tenant architecture. We can now work with service providers that would enable them to now offer us as a service in those jurisdictions where it's just a jurisdictional requirement. Just keep the data in my jurisdiction. A service provider can now walk in and say, perfect, we don't even have to stall anything from PerspecSys behind your firewall. It'll just be a different URL you go to get to that cloud application, and yet all those benefits are there. The data's in the jurisdiction. And they can then offer that as a service within the jurisdiction to a plurality of enterprises in a multi-tenant fashion. Being able to now write adapters for other cloud applications, and now enabling our partners and our customers to write plugins to our server means our server is now completely agnostic. And being able to have that server then become that ubiquitous part of the network security fabric of an enterprise, and then as cloud adoption occurs, they just drop in more adapters or write them themselves, or the partners bring it along with them. As the cloud vendors start picking this up and writing their own adapters, they can then walk into a customer and say, I want you to adopt our cloud, and the customer says, I need to talk about security, privacy, and residency, and they say, we have a plugin for PerspecSys. Yeah. Done. It's like, it's like the database days where, do you support JDBC? Yes, we do. Done. Right? So now we become as ubiquitous as the databases have, in years gone by. That's version 2, that's 2012. So again, it's that just constant natural evolution toward enabling cloud adoption of all sorts now, not just what we've been focused on in the past where we started, which was public SaaS, yep, but now going both across and up to the private side of SaaS, down into the platform as a service, sections as well, so that we can now start securing, again, people that want to write their own applications, but now share them across, where they have that kind of jurisdictional or regulatory compliance requirements and the like. So it's really exciting.
It does seem that way. Big visions, but big delivery. You've got the track record behind you. Make sure you follow Terry Woloszyn, make sure you follow PerspecSys, and make sure that you don't miss out on taking advantage of some of this in 2012. Thanks so much for joining us, Terry.
My pleasure, thank you.
Here in Silicon Valley, catch up with you in New York, June, at
we'll be there.
10th Cloud Expo. Thank you in the meantime for watching this out there on the World Wide Web.